Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome. People invest for various reasons, so to compare or judge yourself to someone else's strategy is honestly irrelevant. We judge by human nature, but it's really important to just focus on your stack and your strategy because getting caught up in other people's decision making can negatively influence your own. And yes, you can get rich stacking silver, but do you necessarily want to? Let's find out. Now, I want you guys to answer this question. Put it in the comments. Why do you stack silver? Right? Get back to the basics. Go back to the roots. Sometimes we lose sight of that. It's very easy to get distracted and branch off, and then we look back and we're like, "Wow, this is not the direction I was supposed to go or that I meant to go." So sometimes we gotta reflect and see where we're at because there's so many types of coins out there. There's so many different ways to stack. It's easy to get distracted. So why do you stack? And I made this video for a couple different reasons. I don't want to give people a false hope. I don't want to mislead them. I don't want to give them false information. I don't want to give them this idea that's not realistic. So then when that doesn't happen, they have regret, resentment, and it could push them away from precious metals or investing completely. So yes, you can get rich stacking silver, but the riskiest way to do it are the short-term flippers, the people that are just investing in silver to make a quick buck, right? Just a quick, greedy buck. Maybe they're in this for like 3-4 years at most. Don't care about the coins themselves. They look at this from a numbers game. There's no emotional attachment. They have no passion. They don't care about any of the stuff except for just making money. Now, that's fine, right? Like I said in the intro, there's tons of different ways to invest. There's no wrong way, but there are riskier and safer ways. See what I'm saying? Now, most people, most of us invest for the long game. The long game. And I mean 10, 15, 20 years, right? That's most of us. By the way, comment down below what your time frame is. Are you going to sell in 20 years or are you going to sell in 5 years? Or if you're never going to sell, put that in there as well. Some people are going to pass down to their kids and grandkids. So this is the tricky part, right? Because we don't necessarily want to get rich. We're accumulating wealth because silver's money itself, but to sell, it's contradicting. And I really hope you know where I'm going with this. I really hope you do. And if you don't, I hope you will now comprehend and try to grasp what I'm about to say, because this is probably the biggest question that revolves around silver stacking. So, we transfer our money out of fiat currency and put it into precious metals because the dollar's losing value. The dollar's losing its purchasing power. The dollar's on its last leg. The dollar's collapsing. So we put our money into silver to protect our wealth. So how much sense would it make to then sell our silver back into the dollar? Does that make sense? Why would we get into precious metal stacking to get away from the dollar, but then go right back to it, even if it's appreciated a substantial amount? Does that make sense? Because to me it doesn't. But here's my idea or my opinion on this. So first of all, since I'm not planning on selling for 15, 20 years, who knows what type of monetary system will be, what the system will be like by then. But I can guarantee one thing: silver's still going to be valuable, and probably more valuable. Even if the dollar isn't a thing anymore, it's still going to be valuable. And I can guarantee that because gold and silver has been valuable for over 5,000 years. It's been valuable since the beginning of man. So And it has so many industrial properties. It's always going to be seen as valuable, especially as we advance technologically. It's only actually going to make sense for it to be more valuable because we're going to need more and more silver as everything is digital. So silver is always going to be valuable, right? But even if silver goes to $100 an ounce, would you sell it? Would you sell your silver back into fiat when you know that fiat is still deflating? I want you guys to answer that. And here's my opinion. I would probably do this because you still need fiat currency. You still need your dollars to be able to survive, food, water, shelter, right? You can't have all your wealth in silver and expect to pay your rent every month or expect to feed your kids. So what I would do is probably sell like 15, well, depending on how much you would be getting in return, 10, 15, 20%. And hopefully that's enough to really put some money in your pocket. Have that money to have liquidity, be able to have some funds in fiat, but then have the rest in precious metals and see where it goes. But it really is something we can't really assume. We can theorize and we can fantasize all we want. But that is one of the situations that we kind of just gotta take it day by day, because there's so many variables that are going to be influenced by then. So many different things could happen by then that we have no idea what the economy, what our financial system is going to be like. So we could think about different scenarios and try to prepare best for that. I mean, that's the smartest and most rational way I would think about it. Since we don't know what's going to happen, we can talk about A, B, C, D, and E, and talk about what we would do in that situation then. But that's about as best as we can get. It's kind of like trying to predict silver's price, right? You hear all these price forecast videos, people saying that there's going to be, $30 silver next year, but they always forget about the unknown variable. The unknown variable is the sneakiest one, but also the most powerful. Just like last year, all the price forecasts were way off this year, and you want to know why? Because nobody could have predicted there would be a global pandemic. The unknown variable is always the thing that catches people off guard. We can try to assume, it's silver, but something could happen next year that could blow us out of the water that we can't even fathom right now and change the entire game. So we got to just be prepared. Did you guys know, I read this couple minutes ago actually, only 1% of the population stacks silver. So we're the 1%. And that's precious metals in general, gold too. So imagine that. Imagine if silver explodes to $1,000. It would be crazy to us, but to the everyday person, the 99% of other people that don't have it, they'll just be like, man, well, only 1% of people had it anyways. Like, how lucky could I have gotten? Like, that's crazy to think about, that only 1% of the population owns precious metals. And that's also why, we're so lucky and we're in such a opportunistic situation, because most people don't. And looking at the rate that especially that silver is going, I mean, it's not crazy to think about $100 silver, $200 silver, because when most of those other 99% people hear about it, it's going to be after it's already exploded to unprecedented levels. I mean, right now, yeah, it's cheap, but that's because nobody knows about it. And when people start hearing about it, it's going to be too late for them, right? So kind of like Bitcoin. Back when Bitcoin was like a couple $100, nobody knew about it. And to them, once it got to $1,000, that was probably crazy high for them. But since nobody knew about it, it was still this like weird situation where they probably didn't want to pay $1,000 for a single Bitcoin. But since nobody knew about it, $1,000 is actually still really cheap. And now look at Bitcoin at like 18,000. So imagine when it's desensitized to the normal or the everyday people, when silver is $500. Right now it sounds crazy to us, but most of those people in a couple of years, that will be their norm. So, but that's a theory, right? I'm just trying to get you guys to get on that level of thinking of how reality could be or would be, and also how the desensitized brain works. It's very interesting. Right now, people look at $18,000 Bitcoin, they're desensitized to that. That's their normal. But back in the day, when Bitcoin was $1,000, you could tell someone that Bitcoin's going to be $18,000, and they would never believe. They wouldn't believe you because they're not desensitized to that price yet. And as the price of silver goes higher, people will become more desensitized. Right now, $50 silver sounds crazy. When I talk about $50, $100 silver on this channel, people call me crazy. But in 5-10 years, when it's that, people are going to think that $25 silver is crazy, right? Because they're going to be so used to that price. You're going to tell them we're buying silver at $25, and they're barely going to believe us that we had that opportunity. So it really is. That's why your own perspective, your own assumption, how you see the market isn't, you got to step outside of yourself and see the bigger picture, right? We view everything from such a closed, narrow angle that we forget that that's only our reality, that's only our perspective, but you have to see things as they are, not as you think they are. And that's why I think I've been so successful with investing. Because I'm a realist. I look at the whole picture from every different angle. I don't just try to look from my perspective. I'm looking from your perspective. I'm looking from their perspective. I'm looking from no perspective, right? It's very interesting. But anyways, I hope you guys understood this video. I know I kind of got outside of the box a little bit, but that's just how my brain works, and I hope that's also why you're subscribed, right? So I hope you answered the questions I asked in this video. It's pretty important stuff. Also, a key factor is to try to get back to the basics. Try to remember the purpose you stack silver, or why you started stacking in the first place, and see if you have got distracted. And if so, try to get back on track. And don't be mad at yourself, whatever it happens to everyone, right? I definitely have before. So yeah, make sure to smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Got to be subscribed. Not for my sake, for your own. You got to be getting this daily dose of information about precious metals. And I got y'all every single day. 2 videos. This was Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.